It's time to tell the politicians to get out of our house. It is time to act. The politicians are not who the forefathers envisioned. We must replace them with true citizen representatives who will serve we the people. It would be dishonorable to pass this problem to our children. If there ever was a time to act, it is now. The plan is in place. Join GOOH now and be part of the solution. Tell the politicians to get out of our house. Visit GOOH.com.
I think everybody in America sees and understands that government is broken and we need to do something. And so GOOH, Get Out of Our House, is a plan to replace the people up in Washington that are supposed to be leading our country, but they're not. They no longer represent the people. They represent the special interest groups that fund them. They represent their political party. They represent their own political career long before they represent you or I.
You've got to explain that this isn't just a random idea. This is a whole platform and a strategy. What's the simplest play-by-play? Yeah, well, so I've got to start with I'm a computer guy, and all I've done my entire life is build systems and processes to change the way things happen and to get different results. So I started with understanding what are the core problems today, and I said there's really four. There's the money in politics, there's the parties telling people how to vote, there's politicians too worried about their own career, and the lack of accountability. And so I set out with how do you create a process that addresses those four issues, and I came up with the GOOH system, and it would work like this. We want every person in America to go to this website, thegooh.com, and document how they personally would vote. So we have a questionnaire, 100 questions. Are you for or against each and every issue of the day? There's no right or wrong answer. Just put in writing how you would vote if you were in Washington, and then sign a legally binding agreement that says if we send you up there, vote the way you said you would. Once we get to critical mass and membership, we've defined that as 500,000 members, we'll randomly sort the participants into pools of 10 within their district, and then one morning next spring, you'll have 50,000 pools of 10 all sitting down at the exact same time, and each pool of 10 among themselves will choose the two best people. And they'll look at the answers to the questionnaire, they'll consider communication skills, personality, accomplishments in life, whatever they want to consider. Each pool of 10 will identify the two best. Those two will advance, and the next weekend you'd have new but fewer pools, and that process would repeat 4 or 5 weekends until ultimately one person rises to the top in each of the 435 districts. And those become the GOOH candidates that we'll place on the ballot to compete with the career politicians. We've ran well over 2,000 tests of this process now, and in even the first pool of 10, and we do mock sessions with 6, the 2 people that are chosen are superb. And if you go through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds, the quality of the person that rises to the top will be wonderful. Sam Adams said, if ever a time should come when vain and aspiring men shall possess the highest seats in our government, our country will stand in need of our experienced patriots to prevent its ruin. And I think that's where we are. We are the experienced patriots. It is our duty to go find these folks and to put these folks in office, or we will not prevent the ruin of what has been the greatest nation.
Understand GOOH, it helps to go through one of our mock selection sessions. The sessions are fun, and most who take the time to experience how GOOH works will leave energized and on board.
I'm not a political guy, I'm a computer guy. I've got a computer science degree from the University of Texas. I worked on the KH-11 spy satellite. I was one of the guys that helped build the first credit card reader at the gas pump. I had the very good fortune to work over at Dell Computer for a dozen years, where we did really a lot of revolutionary kind of systems that changed the way computers were built and bought and purchased and such. So all my life, all my career, I've been in the right place at the right time, building systems
far-fetched,
to change the way we do things.
Gina Day, there is a relatively new political movement that is rapidly gaining momentum as more and more Americans express their dislike of Washington politics. It was started by Tim Cox, a Texan who lives near Austin, but is earning a national reputation. Chances are that Tim Cox doesn't like your representative in Congress.
I think the politicians are destroying our country. It's a plan to replace all 435 members of the United States House of Representatives.
That plan is called GO, Get Out of Our House.
A very simple way that we can take the money and the parties out of the system and put accountability back in.
Cox wants people to sign up at his website, fill out a questionnaire, and become a member for free. Once he hits 500,000 members, he'll ask for $100 donations. GO will offer a 2-term limited candidate in every district, in every state.
We want everybody in the country to not only run for Congress, but even if you don't want to do that, participate in this process and help choose who your candidate would be in your district.
The nonpartisan anti-politician group was a draw for Sugar Land resident Mark Hall. He's fed up with Congress.
If GO candidates can control the House of Representatives, then that's the first phase in turning this country around to the way that our founding fathers intended it to be.
And believe it or not, they may have a shot.
It's a unique idea.
KTRK political consultant Dr. Richard Murray says the ease of internet communication and today's political climate could sow the seeds of success for any true grassroots effort.
We had a poll a few months ago that showed only 47% of voters now were identifying up front with the Democratic or Republican Party, which means a lot of people have pulled back from a partisan identification.
Cox has written a book about his plan, tours the country speaking about it, and hopes that his goal of turning over Congress ultimately gets a green light from voters. Cox says the group already has 100,000 members in all 50 states. The most active are political battlegrounds: Ohio, Florida, North Carolina. Texas is the most active state, with Houston being the most active city. More than 2,500 members are your neighbors. Tom Abrams, 13 Eyewitness News.
Revolution. I walked away from my job, abandoned everything I have to go build the system, and I'm traveling the country, city to city. And what we're finding is there are groups of patriots all across America. But these folks are very interested and see that we need to do things differently. And we've had almost 400,000 people to the website already. So it's a...
The actual process will have pools of 10, but for demonstration purposes, we'll have groups of exactly 6. Each participant will need a single sheet of paper that contains the scorecard on one side and the sample questions on the other. Let the participants pick a leader. That will be candidate number 1. The rest of the group should count off as numbers 2 through 6. Each participant should write their number in the blank box above the word "you" on the scorecard. Then write your table number in the top left corner. The moderator will assign your table a number. Flip the sheet over. There are 6 blank columns on the right side of the sheet. Mark out the word "you" in the top cell of the first column and write your number in that cell. Next, you will vote on the 20 questions by circling the word "for" or "against" in each sentence. After you have voted on all 20, put a star by the 3 or 4 that are most important to you. Then put an A in the first column of every question you voted against. Now you will record the vote of the other 5 candidates in the 5 remaining columns. Candidate number 1 will read out their answers first, and the other 5 candidates will record the answers candidate number 1 voted against in the next column. Now repeat the process for the other 5 candidates. Now it's time to introduce yourself to the other 5 candidates.
Hey, my name is Flo Smith, and I live in Willoughby Hills.
The biggest reason that I'm thinking of running for Congress here is because I would like to return our country to the Constitution on which it was founded.
My name is Shirley Weber. I'm 78 years old and I'm fighting mad.
The reason I'm here with GO is that I'm very apprehensive about the unauthorized expansion of government.
After all 6 candidates have introduced themselves, each candidate will need to vote for their favorite candidate. In the top left box on the scorecard, write the number of your favorite candidate at this point. Consider their speech and their answers. Now you have to vote for the one person who you would not send to Washington to represent you. Write their number in the big box on the right side of the scorecard, the 6th place box. Now you will interview each of the other 5 candidates. The moderator will let you know which candidate to interview. After you interview each of the other 5 candidates, you will record your final votes. That's all there is to it. Now let the real search for the modern-day incarnations of Madison, Franklin, and Jefferson begin.